Good morning, Facebook family. I'm gonna try to get through this video without crying. Um, I just wanted to share with you all a little bit of my testimony. When I was younger, I grew up in church. I was at church every day. My mom made sure that I was at church every Sunday, at choir rehearsal, at vacation Bible school, and everything that had to do with church. My mom made sure that she had us in church, and that was my backbone. And so I grew up in church, but didn't really know anything about God. I didn't have a relationship with Him, I'll say that. At the age of 14, my mom passed away of cancer. She passed away of ovarian cancer. And I was distraught. I was mad with God. I told God, I said, why did you take my mom? I'm only 14. I don't know what I'm going to do. My mom was my everything. I could talk to her about everything. She was my best friend. I shared everything with her. And so from that point, I hit this downward spiral of destruction. I acted up in school. I got into fights. My grades were still intact because I made a promise to my mom when she got sick that I was going to graduate high school. And I did do that. But I acted up in school. I was skipping school. I started having sex before marriage. And when you start to live a life of sin, you kind of feel like you have there's no consequence, but there is a consequence when you live a life of sin. Sin leads to destruction and eventually death. There's no other way I can put it. And it did. I started having sex before I got married, and I ended up pregnant at the age of 19. And from that point, when I got pregnant with my son, I was with a guy who wanted me to have an abortion, and I thought about it. I felt like everybody who I thought loved me turned their back on me. My church family turned their back on me. I was in this thing alone. I felt alone. I felt disowned from people that I held dear. Sorry guys. I felt at the lowest of low points. I had no place to stay, and I'm pregnant with my first child. No one to talk to, and my friend and her parents took me in, and I felt safe for a little while. I started back going to church. Still didn't have like a relationship because I didn't understand what having a relationship with God was. All I knew was you go to church on Sunday, because that's what we were taught. You do what you do Monday through Saturday, but Sunday is the Lord's day. You go to church. That's what I was taught. And so, but even then, church family, turned their back on me, disowned me, they shunned me. And so I found myself in the hospital giving birth to my first child, and back to square one, having no place to stay. Here I am, a 19-year-old girl, probably 20 at the time, 20-year-old girl, because I wasn't grown, I was still a child. 20-year-old girl with a newborn, 24 hours old, and when they get me, once I'm out of the hospital, I have no place to stay. I have nowhere to go. I have no one to turn to. I was alone. And at that point, I just cried. I cried all night looking at my son and wondering, how am I going to provide anything for this new life alone? The guy I was with left. How am I going to do this? And at that point, I heard a voice say, it's not as bad as it seems. Do you trust me? And at that point, I told God, you know what, God? I trust you. I have no choice. I have nothing else. I'm at rock bottom. I have nothing. I have nothing else. This is it. This is my residence as of right now, a hospital room who's providing me 3 meals a day. I have nothing else. I trust you. Whatever it is you want me to do, whatever it is you're asking, I say yes. And I've been saying yes ever since. And I don't know. I'm trying to get myself together, guys. I don't know who this is for, but things may look bad now. It may seem like this is as bad as it's going to get. But I trust you. If you just try God just once, you won't regret it. You won't. This is the happiest I've been my entire life. To know that there was this man who was born of a virgin, who lived a holy life, who was tempted on all aspects. And he gave his life for a person like me, a person who would curse him, a person who would sin against him, a person who would turn their back on him. He gave his life for me. And he did that same thing for you. So to whoever this is for, I say, try God, try Jesus, try him just once. And I promise you won't regret it. It's not as bad as it seems. Your life is not over. This is not it for you. God has so much more for you. He has so much in store for you. And even when you feel like everyone has turned their back on you, God has never turned his back on you. He's always there. He was always there in the midst of it all. He was always there in those nights of crying, in those nights of suicidal thoughts, in those nights of just not even knowing and not understanding. He was always there. Just try him. Just trust him. I promise you, you won't regret it. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. And I'll put that on everything. You won't regret it. You'll have so much joy. You'll have so much peace. You have so much love. There's just so much in him. Just try him. All you have to do is just ask God to forgive you of your sins. Ask him to forgive you of everything that you've done that I'm pretty sure that he will probably not be pleased with. But he doesn't hold those things over you like man do. He doesn't hold grudges. He throws all of that into the sea of forgetfulness and forgets it and remembers it no more, as if it never happened. He's there with open arms, ready to love, ready to mend, ready to heal, ready to set you free of whatever it is that's holding you captive. I just ask that you try him. I can only tell you from my own personal experience. I don't know what your testimony is, but he's there. Just try him. I promise you, you won't regret it. You won't.